Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the brand new album from the pioneering black metal, or Norwegian black metal band, especially Mayhem, with Liturgy of Death, their new record. So Liturgy of Death kind of brings us with the newer lined up. I've not been following this band really ever, just listen to them every so often. I wanted to kind of dive into some black metal, and the only consistent member they've had since the formation of the band is Necro Butcher, the guitarist, the one who's kind of just stayed away from the controversy surrounding the band. So for those who don't know the backstory of Mayhem, one of the darkest, weirdest, and most notorious backgrounds of any band that I have come across. So originally had a lead singer named Dead. Who pretty much has a massive obsession to the concept of death. He was very gothic, very dark in his own mindset, but he was definitely would fit the kind of aesthetic Mayhem wants to go for, that very satanic, gothic, black metal edge to it. And as well as that, you also had Euronymous as another member. Both these members have actually passed away years ago, back in the 90s, and that's kind of part of the lore and notoriousness of the band. Dead, the original lead singer, committed suicide in 1991, but Euronymous, one of the founding members, decided to frame in this kind of stage this bootleg live album, which I'll put the title there. I'm not going to put the image of it there either, and this would be like kind of like a 1993 release, I think, but it got delayed 2 years later from that year. He staged this kind of picture of Dead suicide, and that was the bootleg live album art, the official one. It was used, and I'm just thinking to myself, what would drive anyone to think, oh, that's metal, I'm going to do that, because that's just absolutely horrific. But Euronymous in 1993 was actually then murdered by someone else in the band called Varg, who, this person's actually had his own project working with Burzum, but he's been convicted and been arrested because of the murder of Euronymous. And it's so weird how like these three have just like caused a chain of events that are just absolutely insane. But he's been released from jail, Varg, now, so he's kind of, I guess, making his own music. I think he's still doing stuff with Burzum. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's been released and he might be in the game industry. I don't even know at this point. But yeah, that's pretty much the kind of synopsis of Mayhem, and Necro Butcher's kind of just been the overall one, working still with the band and just continuing on with a new lineup and whatnot. And I think it's better this way. It's the band that's probably going to always be known for that, and I think that's always going to be the most popular thing about Mayhem, but at least they're still continuing the name. I personally am shocked they wanted to, but, he helped make the band. He has every right to do that decision. Now, actually talking about the album itself, I don't think Mayhem are really pushing out the most creative sound anymore. We have a lead singer who's taken over, and he's the current one, called Attila, and I feel like Attila's voice isn't the worst in the black metal scene, but it's certainly not one of the most impressive vocally. I just find that he's trying to do kind of like this clean the clean like black metal scream. I wouldn't say fry screaming, but I'd say more like the shrieking that you more or less hear from it. And I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I just think personally it comes off as a bit too clean, and at the same time, it somehow doesn't help that the instrumentation isn't anything that exciting anymore. I feel like Mayhem is kind of recycling the similar sound they've been pushing for the last couple or so years, and I don't think we're getting slop quality of the band, but we're certainly not getting great quality anymore. I just think Liturgy of Death is just giving us the same experience of what Mayhem could have done last time, and I'm not too bothered by the band's output here. There's still definitely some good quality, and as a matter of fact, I even say as well, there are some genuinely fun moments on this record. I quite like the opening track. It's definitely got some good stuff, and they even feature Garm and Olva, which I quite like the features here, and I honestly was curious to see if there was any more, but that's the only one we have here. I'm just surprised there not really as many long songs. I was expecting more like 8 to 9 minute ones, but yeah, I just think they're kind of a bit more sure on the more mainstream side of black metal, and they're not really pushing anything that exciting. It's kind of like a stronger representation of what Behemoth have been doing on the Shit of God record from last year, at least when it kind of comes to the black metal aspect, but they're still pushing the full-on sound for sure. I just think we're kind of getting a bit tired of the same thing, because Mayhem, that yeah, they may be the founders of or some of the black metal, like at least Norwegian black metal, which was quite big, especially when you had projects like Burzum as well, get quite a bit of notoriety for it. I just think that at this point we're getting less of an impact. I just feel like Mayhem is just more better suited for being like an iconic name in the metal industry, rather than actually having like the music to show why they are that big. As I said, they're most known for the infamous stuff to them, and I don't think Mayhem are putting out any material that tops a lot of their earlier stuff, and that's what a lot of bands do, unfortunately. But at least they're still making music that actually, we'll see to say, is actually not that bad. But I wouldn't really say it's anything I'm hugely impressed with either. I think we get like a decent first half, and then the second half is just kind of where my interest slips a bit more and more as we explore it. I want to say it's a good album, but I can't really say it's that good. It's just like there's good potential, and I just wish we had a bit more. I don't know. I personally would like to see a bit more of aggression on it, and I just want to see it kind of get for a bit more of a rougher sound. Maybe a bit longer songs, maybe a bit more experimentation with different ideas. I just think we're kind of getting bored of the same stale Mayhem delivery here. So I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. I guess I'd say it's a 2.5 out of 5. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.